Very important. And welcome back to the Off the Clock Show. You are joined today with myself, Shawn Gervais from OrbisX and Auto World, and also obviously the Off the Clock Show. And we've got today with us once again, Mr. Marty Hill from Pints of Polishing Podcast, as well as hyperClean Products. And you've got some new packaging. Is that able to be revealed? Or?
You
You
got a sneak peek, and I said this, so you're getting a sneak peek, man.
All right. Well, I appreciate the sneak peek, and everybody else, you're going to see it soon. I guess what you'll have to do is place an order, and you will get your sneak peak as well. I tried.
HyperClean Store. Update on HyperClean Store versus social media.
All right.
Social media is really, really struggling because fucking Facebook will not accept that I'm here. This is the location. This is our phone number. I have sent them, I don't know how many different proofs. The last one, I fucking just took a picture of the website and that was one of my proofs. I'm like, what else do they want? I've sent my phone bills. I sent my water bill. I've sent them everything.
And the worst thing is there's
nobody that you can talk to. Yeah. They've removed all chat agents.
My God.
You can never find anybody. You can send in an email and, you know,
so what do you think the solution is? What's the solution?
Nobody to talk to.
New page? Unfortunately.
Oh, we've done. No, that's the thing. Well, no, we don't need a new page anymore. No, because even on a new page, you would get to this same point where they have to validate your location mixed with your website and your phone number. So like, I get it, right? They're trying to make sure business is legit and they're not, I get it.
Well, like how much more legit can
but yeah. And then you can't ever talk to anybody. We've been in review now. Like at first they just kept denying it. Like within like a couple hours to the next day, just deny. Now I think we're at like a 4 days now that the same one's been in review where I was like, fucking, here's a picture of the website. Like, you know, they apparently couldn't go look at the website themselves and see it on there. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I had something similar about 2 years ago, I think. So my other company, my marketing agency, we're working with this cannabis company and we're setting up their social profiles for all their different locations. It was a franchise. And we set everything up, but there were very, very, very strict rules about certain things that could or could not be said or advertised. Whenever things started to kind of legalize in different places, Facebook hadn't quite, separated, the different territories, like what's legal, what's not legal. And everything was fine on Facebook at first until we connected the Instagram. Once we connected the Instagram, man, accounts were getting blocked and, renew signups. We would go through the verification process, but then after 2 or 3 posts that would get blocked. It was a mess, but we ended up just jumping ship on the Instagram one and just sticking with Facebook.
Cannabis and Instagram doesn't work. Yep.
Yeah,
we find it here in the state where it's, it's completely 100% legal from the medical side, but you've anywhere put
online.
So it's like every grower, every dispenser, and anybody that makes content that everything's not for sale.
Yeah.
Because, and they joke about it. Sometimes it's like every couple of weeks, you got a new Instagram page. Like that's just what they have to do. Like there's now underscore dot score something, like.
Yeah. Bunch of numbers thrown in there. 4 or 5
because they always get kicked and booted. And
that's crazy.
Once Instagram boots you,
good luck. Yeah, it's
oh yeah,
they're tracking everything, device, IP, even like a range, like your distance, like proximity. So if you even sign up from like an internet cafe down the road, like forget it, man. Like it's crazy. Yeah. And the censorship side, it's madness. But
all right, so I tried this today and I've had some random crazy ones. That's not good. This actually is very good. So
ranch water.
Yeah, ranch water. I don't know what ranch water is. It's some type of seltzer.
Okay, yeah. Now, what's the flavor on that though?
But so yeah, this one's called prickly pear.
Okay, I had a feeling with the purple and everything. I imagine the different flavors are different colors.
So what's interesting too inside the beer world is they've all as truly exploded. And then everybody got into seltzers, of course, all the beer, Bud Light has seltzer, Corona has seltzer, like everybody started,
Yeah.
even the micro breweries now are starting to create their own type of seltzer.
Okay.
I don't know what the difference between ranch water and a seltzer is. We're going to have to look that up, but Carbrough Brewing, I mean, they're a beer company. I mean, they brew beer. So it's really interesting that
Okay. So this is
they're
one of their
also brewing
spin-off
this.
products.
Yeah. So it's prickly pear. And then I mixed it with some Lunazul tequila.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, that's going to be dangerous. That's a good combination. Summer combination there, but like that could.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's nice. Yeah. Myself, I'm doing Appleton Estates and my coffee. I needed to pick me up at the same time.
You do tequila, right?
Oh yeah. Love tequila.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, this has that.
I'm big too on trying like obscure tequilas. Like I'll find like random ones, stuff like that. And I like to change things up. With rum, I have like go-to, this is the rum I drink. This is the brand.
Tequila is fun to switch.
Yeah, you just try different stuff. It is. Yeah. And, actually, I know.
When I would go down to Mexico way a long time ago, I'd go down, and this is funny. I would just, because why wouldn't you go if there was a medical trip going? Like you could just hop in and be right. Like I was a mobile detailer, and my reason for having my business was to travel, right, and to create a business. So I travel and go. One of those was to go down to this place called Leon, Mexico, and we would pull teeth. We would set up a dental clinic, and I mean, it was
wild,
some rough.
man.
It was some rough shit. This was the straight barrio. This was it was the Mexican barrio. It was rough. Literally, the town was built on a massive trash pile. That's how it got built.
Shit.
So it was a rough place. So these people, we really did them a really great service by shooting them full of some deadening, and then the dentist many times would have to sit there and fucking like, all the time, just fucking like beat in to get the roots out, to get all the stuff that's
the fragments and everything.
Yeah, like it was rough.
That's crazy. But what a good service though, because like
but it was the best thing for them, because you can die from that. I mean,
100%.
I almost had that problem where if your bacteria gets too bad and gets down into your bloodstream, you're in trouble. So, and the pain, the amount of pain they were in. So weeks later, they were pain free. They were loving it.
No kidding.
But anyway, the fun part about doing that was finding random tacos and then random tequilas. That's what made me think of it. And I brought back one year this one that was in this really cool little house. They had to open up the little.
That's wicked.
Oh yeah, it was super cool. They made all kinds of crazy fun stuff there.
Man, that's wild. Jeez. See, that's the fun kind of stuff about traveling, though, is you get to experience all these different things, like we used to drink this under the counter stuff. It had centipedes in it, and I mean big centipedes, huge ones.
I've never seen one with centipede.
Yeah, sometimes they put. Oh, it wasn't a tequila. No, this was. I don't know what you'd classify it as. No, it was more. I'd say it's more leaning on the rum spectrum, but they would mix it with all kinds of different things. It was just fermenting in this. They'd put like tree bark and all kinds of stuff in there. It was wild. That stuff though, you can't drink too much of it. Holy, it was intense. But sometimes they put like scorpions and just crazy shit in it. Yeah, that was fun though. So anytime the tourists would come visit, we'd pull out a bottle because I knew one of the guys that owned the bar, and so oh my god, it was fun.
You said you did some yard work this weekend?
Yeah. I was doing some yard work and had a minor incident with a neighbor. Yeah, but the yard work was fun.
I did some yard work this weekend too, and one of the times I was pulling up some stuff and I saw this tiny little grass snake, right? It was a little baby. Yeah. So my wife's kid is like, "Hey, come here." It's like, "Cause what is it?" It's a snake. I'm gonna throw it at you. So he didn't flinch. So I go, okay. I picked up the snake and threw it at him.
Oh shit!
He still didn't fucking flinch. Said they're stone cold. Like,
you're joking.
No. And
That's
I go,
crazy.
I just threw a snake at you. They didn't. They thought it was a worm.
Oh my god. Oh.
And so they were literally having a question back and forth, like worm, and I, using translator, like figuring out, no, this is a snake. And they said, cobra? I go, No, it's not. Oh, and then there was the other word for worm. I was like, oh, cobra. Okay, yes, snake, but not a cobra, right?
Yeah,
It's
not a
just a
cobra
grass snake, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
then I was, holding it with its tail and taking pictures and like fucking
Nice. Yeah,
hilarious,
yeah.
fucking hilarious. But I was like, this kid let me throw a fucking snake at him.
And he didn't even flinch.
Didn't fucking flinch. It's like, because you thought it was a worm. Okay, got it.
Yeah, yeah. See?
I told you I was going to throw a snake at you.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny though, because actually a lot of kids would have flinched even if it was a worm.
True.
Yeah,
Stone
it's
cold,
true.
man. Stone cold.
That's crazy. Oh,
Yeah, he's a
man.
trooper.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Be careful when he's a teenager, that one.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. You
No,
could have
he's
some trouble there.
my Fortnite buddy though. We got Fortnite
that's
later
wicked.
night, every Tuesday night, Fortnite.
Oh, wicked, man. Yeah, yeah. See? That's blessed.
And guess what tomorrow is?
What's tomorrow?
May the 4th be with you.
Oh, nice.
You don't celebrate? You don't
No.
celebrate May 4th?
No.
Yeah,
actually
May the
don't
4th
even-
be with you.
May the this-
It's National Star Wars Day, man.
Oh, shoot.
You
You're
know,
not gonna believe
Fortnite
this.
has come back out with lightsabers. It just got released this
Yeah.
morning, and we'll be able to, like, tonight, we're going to be chopping up people with lightsabers.
Oh, that's
Darth Vader
That's
apparently
cool.
comes out tomorrow, too, or sometimes in that.
oh, no way.
Oh,
Jeez.
yeah, man.
You're not gonna believe this when I tell you, but I've never seen it. That's not even a joke.
Shawn, hold on, man. I got to go. I apologize.
Yeah, yeah. No worries. Yeah, no, that's not a joke either. But everyone's told me, like, you gotta watch it, But they're so long, man. I saw the length of them. I was like, oh, I don't have time for it. So I guess maybe I should make time.
If you're not into sci-fi, don't worry about it.
Hmm.
I mean,
Fair
it's,
enough. Well,
that's
sometimes I have moments where I like to watch something, like most of the time I watch like comedies, stuff like that, action movies, but this is, I'm sure, got action, maybe some comedy, I don't know, but you like, no. my wife,
sci-fi,
though,
man. Don't worry about it.
she's big into stuff like that. Like she
Just-
even like
Just go get a
the-
shirt, and tomorrow just go, May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. Jesus, that's clever though. Nice. All right, I'll check that out. But that's awesome, man. Yeah. So I did get a question, but before we jump into that question, seen any posts, had any conversations with people?
Great. Okay, so I have
Yeah.
not in anywhere in the detailing world, but I thought it was fucking hilarious.
All right, hit me with it.
And there was the quote, and I'll butcher the quote, but I'll get to it. Now that I've bought Twitter, it's time to look at Ford, because whoever said that a 4-door Mustang was a good idea needs to be fired. Fucking Elon Musk. Like,
Oh man.
wow.
Yeah. He's
Like,
I
okay.
love his posts, man. I love
Yeah,
them.
like-
Yeah.
get it. You're the richest person alive. I get it. You're the more important than the president of the United States, probably.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
100%. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Jesus. Oh,
Wow.
man.
That's
Yeah.
what you can say when you got the most money in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I bought this company. Let me look at my competitor. I need to buy out my competitor, because whoever the fuck made that vehicle,
Bad
Need-
decision.
like, I'm gonna buy the company just to fire you.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Imagine who that person is. Go home
Right.
today. Jesus.
Is
Yeah.
that guy in therapy for burnout? I wonder.
Oh. I have a feeling he is. Yeah, yeah. Nice reference to the past. Yeah. Hey, did that podcast ever happen, by the way?
Finally. And then we
Hey, there we go.
did some stuff yesterday about it, and came out
Okay.
really good, but we also
Nice.
took some flack, and it is what it is.
Yeah, that's it.
Uh-huh.
You're not doing anything right unless you're taking some flack too, Like it's, yeah, I get it all the time. Yeah, I remember when I first started OrbisX, oh, well, it doesn't do anything that the other ones don't and stuff like that. And now it does everything the other ones don't. So, shit happens. They just,
And
couldn't
there's
keep
some
up.
big release, right? Didn't you kept
Oh.
teasing everybody like,
I know. Yeah, big release was in-app calling with recording. So they can make calls and everything directly from the app, and it gets recorded. So it's really helpful, especially for bigger shops that, if you've got like sales staff, things like that. So like there's a shop that we're working with in Sarasota, Florida. They're huge, and like they're doing $1 million plus a month, and they've got a full, set of sales staff. Excuse me. Actually, there must be something about Florida there, because we've got a few members down there and they're just caking it. But anyways, their staff can make calls, gets recorded, saved to the client profile so that other staff members can reference those notes when calling back.
Is it a way then that somebody could get a company phone number?
Yeah. So you get a phone number with Twilio, and then basically you've got your number there,
right?
Customers can text you, and
that's some of the most bullshit in running a business. Is if somebody has direct access to your personal cell phone,
100%.
The amount of things that you can get, the amount of bullshit that you can get, the amount of random questions that you get, like.
Yep. And here's one of the cool things too with going this route with Twilio is that you can get as many phone numbers as you want. And the reason that's important is, let's say you're doing print ads and Google ads and Facebook and all this stuff. You can use a different number in each place, and so you can start to track where things are coming from, right? So that's helpful too, because sometimes it's easy to track online stuff, like, oh, they clicked here, they went there, so on and so forth. But how do you track the phone? And so this way it helps with that side of things. So yeah, I was teasing people a little bit because I like to build up some anticipation, and then but yeah, and that's one more thing that like none of the other apps have that I was surprised at, because it just seems like something that should have been there, and but anyway, it's there now. Once again, OrbisX for the win, but that's okay. I'll pat myself on the back.
Yeah, so, no, it is cool. Great. And I say that literally from experience of what my wife's going through.
Yeah.
She's got 2 phones.
Yeah.
She's got 2 numbers. She's wanting to cancel one, keep one, like, or how do we mix them, or how, like,
yeah.
So
it would be nice if she just had her cell phone and then she had an app that can do the calls, and then you can even do the text messaging, and you can do it right through the app as well. Like we've got this thing called Chatterbox where it shows, it's a text messaging app, and it shows all the people that sent you messages. You click on it, send them back a message. How simple is that? So yeah, it's nice to have everything in one place, but that's business. And then your personal line is separate.
And kudos to my wife. She made her last payment. And so we went and did a little celebration dinner last night. Business is now all her own. She's paid it completely off to the former owner. And yeah,
that's amazing, man.
She's super excited. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Extend my congratulations as well, please. Yeah. That's amazing. I will. Yeah. So now it's just onward and upward, man.
Yeah. Then it's the rest of the stuff, finishing up everything with, but I know on her side, it's not called OrbisX. So, but
the CRM oxide. Yeah.
Yeah. The CRM stuff, setting all that up, because she's sitting there at night, sending out texts, trying to talk to people. And it's like, we can definitely get this in a better way,
Yeah. It simplified things a lot. Absolutely. That way it's all trackable too. And one thing that helps with that, because I see a lot of the guys, they post in groups, and they're, I just use pen and paper, or I just use Google Calendar or something like that. And my biggest response to all of that is, I hope you never plan to sell your business, because how can you ever show any kind of financial history to a potential buyer with that kind of system? Like you can't, I can show you my last 3 years of my Google Calendar. Yeah, your valuation on Shark Tank, man, they're going to laugh you right off the stage.
Oh, don't even go that far. I mean, if they ever would make it to the point of selling it for any value, right? Like we always say in the industry, know your worth.
Yeah, 100%. That's where one huge thing that's
the amount of time that I see her spending doing this.
Yeah.
Where if she
use a software that's just
use a software that just did all it for her, know your worth. Like,
absolutely. I know that's where, like, right now OrbisX is $100 a month, but I'm going to be jumping that up to what it's actually worth, which is $299 a month. And then I'm going to go from there to $699 a month. I know it's going to wipe out a lot of the guys that are like mobile on their own and stuff like that, and they can't afford it, but that's not my target market. Target market is shops that are growing and making serious cash, because look at what you'd have to pay to hire somebody. We're talking, you're at least like $3,000-$4,000 a month kind of thing. But if this software can do a lot of what that staff member is doing, like a salesperson or, a receptionist, whatever it is, it's actually a lot of savings in comparison to that. So anyway, that's going to be coming. But all the other guys, they're already locked into their current price point. So lucky for the early adopters. The early bird gets the worm, or the snake if you're close to Marty. You never know.
that.
Yeah. So I know you got a phone call though from someone that had a question or something.
Oh, yeah. All right. So let me kind of read that off for a little bit, and we'll kind of dissect it. Because I thought it's an interesting point of where he's at. There's probably thousands of others that are in the same position where, hey, I'm my business is okay. I mean, I've got people that are calling. I've got people on the books. I'm actually, I seem to be growing.
Okay.
However, I'm chasing this model of perfect paint.
Perfection.
Yeah, and he says, he can't hold it together anymore. The rain, it's just him by himself. He can't do it.
He's outgrowing his current capabilities.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And let's see.
Perfection for who? For him or for the customer?
Sometimes I get frustrated since. Didn't mean to read that part. I'm going into the training.
That was a message from your wife. No, I'm just kidding.
No, no. I mean, he said he'd reached out to some of the big dogs of the industry, and it seems like they give half-ass advice and won't do it unless you've gone through their trainings.
Okay.
So I guess the people just keep telling them to just hire people. So I took the time to had a phone call with him.
Yeah.
What he's trying to do is his dilemma is if somebody pays for a two-step, but not everything comes out in the two-step, he wants to perfect the paint so that it, in case somebody else sees it.
Okay.
Or in case, he quotes him a one step and gets a quote from somebody else that says, oh, those scratches wouldn't come out. He didn't say that he could do it with that. Well, I can do it with that. Right. So there's 2 points of his problem. He not only was trying to perfect paint out of going too far and doing too much and not running the business properly, but also going too far because he was scared of what somebody else was going to say.
Okay.
So I kind of took it through that with him. He's chasing perfection overall because that's what everybody else has done too, right? It's been a lot of my dilemma against the industry the past years. As paint correction just grew, paint correction grew because ceramic coatings came out, and the early ceramic coating companies told the industry and told detailers, in order to put on this coating, you have to correct the paint all the way to perfection because it's going to last 5 years. And you can't have scratches in somebody's paint for 5 years. They're going to pay you $4,000, $6,000. And I get it. I understand it. And I completely agree with if you're going to pay $6,000, you should have fucking perfect paint.
Yeah.
I agree. My pushback has always just been, well, that's not where it's going to end up. That's not where the industry will sustain itself. There's so much more 100%. Volume in the people that, because I owned a car wash, and I know the industry doesn't like the idea of car washing. I just know the amount of volume and the amount of money that goes through those, as well as then into the full service where we would add on stuff. And I mean, there's an incredible, massive amount of money.
My shop is 20 minutes from my house, Marty. There's a gas station 30 seconds from my house, and I own the shop, but I still take my Range Rover through the car wash sometimes. And it's right there. You know what I mean? I still bring it to my shop too and whatever, but it's easy.
So perfection never should have been something that we in the industry should have ever looked at, because there was never a volume play in it. It was a volume play for these early ceramic coating companies, because they could set this bar.
Dollar. Yeah.
Yep. They could set the bar since they were the early ones in, which makes sense. And then they would capture the majority of the high price because their coding was extremely overpriced and still is. And now you have to be this elite person to get this extra. You have to spend extra money. I mean, I get the play from them 100%. It's the way they should run their business. Is it the way that the rest of the industry and detailers should be operating their business? Boy, chasing perfection.
Yeah.
There's it can only go so far. You can't do it. And I didn't even get this far with this guy. And I appreciate, appreciate him considering me somebody that he should talk to. First of all, thank you. But I kept asking him, what's your end game? What do you want out of your business? Well, I want success for my family and success for my life, okay.
But you can get that if
no,
it's okay. The coatings.
Well, then how does perfection of pain
factor into?
Those dots don't line up.
Yeah.
The way that the early people, the early companies led so many people astray now doesn't line up with where we're at today. It doesn't.
Yeah.
You
Because
can't.
the perfection side seems to be satisfying the distributor and manufacturer, but it doesn't seem to be satisfying the customer necessarily. Like if the customer doesn't even know, who are we trying to make happy here with the perfection?
Bingo. And that's where I shared, on the Pies Polish podcast, and he referenced it, and I'm very grateful for it, is that was the exact same thing that he's starting to realize was what I realized when I was leaving that company that I had previously done some business with. My customers didn't see it. I would spend, you want to play a detailer here and go, well, let's fucking roll back the clock. I can show you the videos. You can talk to the people. 12, 14, 16 hours of paint correction. Can you do it? Yeah, you can fucking do it. Can I do it? Yeah, I can fucking do it. There's a lot of people that can do it. Just because you can do it, should you do it? No, because my customers would get in their car and they go, man, looks great. Thanks so much. I always depend on you. Right?
And then they're gone.
And they're gone. He's experiencing the exact same thing. And he's starting to realize I'm chasing perfection. They are not appreciating it, except that they're paying their bill, right? Like they're appreciating it that way, but he's spending and he's put in so much of his own personal time. He's at that dilemma that I was at where I'm looking at my customer drive away happy, but zero appreciation for the extra time that I spent overnight perfecting their paint. There wasn't a tip that could justify that, right?
Yeah.
A $50 tip doesn't justify it. I would almost say you got to double the price, right? But you can't ask the customer to double the price. So what are we really looking for? We're looking for some type of human to human connection that the amount of time that I spent on his car made like, that's some bullshit, lame. Like, and I was there and I had to look at my customers as they drove away and I go, they don't value what I'm doing. I can't make them pay more. This makes no sense at all for me to keep doing business this way. And that's where I think this guy was. And that's why I tried to help him get through. Like, you can't keep chasing perfection.
100%.
They don't value it.
It's also a very difficult thing to scale.
Well, yeah, but let's just think of know your worth, right? Know your worth. I don't need to charge. I know my worth. They don't see it. So just because my eyes can see something that they can't, that doesn't translate in business. It really doesn't.
Don't care. And so they're not buying perfection. They're buying the coating. As long as it's coated, looks shiny, they're happy. So why are you providing perfection or selling perfection?
Yeah.
No,
And
because
if he
most likely
didn't
don't
push
care.
him, if he didn't push himself so hard on the perfection, could you get another car done?
100%, probably 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, right.
easily.
Well, let's start with one, right?
Yeah.
Like, could you get another car
If you
done
do
that day? You
one-
say that you're backed up and
Yeah.
you say that you got these people that want your services. Well, if you just stop doing so much and you go, oh, but I got to do what's for the customer. Great. Have the customer fucking tell you what they see.
Ask,
What does a two-step
manage
mean?
their expectations.
I did this last week with a customer that brought a car in. He thought he needed something, right?
Mhm.
He said, I want this coating and our hyperclean tray, and I want, because in the past he's had some cars that weren't as good as this one. So he's like, and I want you to cut all those scratches, get it, just I got to get it taken care of for my wife. Like, cool.
Mm.
Well, I get it washed, deconned, right? We use Fuego. There's super cool videos. I love doing that,
Nice.
right? Where
Yeah,
you see
yeah.
marks, and it's got that such a cool little look to it because it was a beautiful car. And then you spray Fuego on and let it sit, and it starts all that bleeding. You go, oh shit,
Oh
man, there's a
shit.
lot of shit
Yeah.
on there. I used our new strip soap that, listen, you can go straight into, you go strip soap, Fuego, you can go straight into coating. It
Damn.
strips everything off the paint. Well, I love it. Right? Like,
Is there a scent with that one?
no scent.
No shit.
No
Okay.
scent. It's just it's a
Interesting.
extremely strong
Yeah.
cleaning soap. Right?
Beautiful. I know a big
for.
complaint from a lot of people is anytime they decon a car, they're like the whole shop smells and like
Yeah.
they feel like they need like respirators and shit.
No.
So,
No.
okay, so
No.
that's a
Okay.
huge
So
secret.
on the soap, yeah, no. Fuego, the decon side, we've minimized that, right? There's part of
Okay.
technology of removing iron from paint that there's
That you
gonna
just
be that
can't-
little bit of smell.
Yeah.
But this is, if you're outdoors and there's just a slight breeze, you won't smell anything, right? Like
Amazing.
outdoors,
Okay.
no breeze, you might have a hint. Indoors, yeah, you might have some of that, right? Like but
Sure.
you're gonna know that this was completely different than what you used to use.
Okay. Yeah.
If you're using a decon that has a harsh smell, that's old technology. That's a company that hasn't updated to new technology and doesn't care about you. And they should have removed that, but they haven't. So you should switch over to Fuego because it's going to decon. You're going to use it on wheels and it has no harsh scents. It's very, very mild. Can you smell it?
Amazing.
You're going to have a hint. It's a
Yeah.
hint.
Like you said, some things can't be eliminated, but they can definitely be improved because like we've tested some products at the shop that oh man, like one spray of something and you can almost feel particles in your lungs. Like it's crazy. There's been others that have been better, but we've tested a lot of stuff and but yeah, that's something I've definitely heard from a lot of people is like that side of the coding process is something they don't like because of those reasons. So that's good to know that the Fuego, well, the combination there, the Fuego, what was the other one called? Does it have a name?
Cleanse. Yeah.
Cleanse?
It's a
Okay,
purifying soap. It's a prep soap. Mhm.
Nice. All right, good stuff.
So yeah, I was able to bring his car in, get it done, easy to do. And because I didn't see anything in the paint, right, that needed this heavy 2-step, 3-step, or even a heavy 1-step.
Mhm.
I called the customer, said, hey man, you'd asked for X, Y, and Z. You don't really need it. I could do just a light polish on it. I just want to make sure that's all good with you. Did you see any scratches that needed to be fixed? No, I didn't see any. Okay, then we don't need that. So I'm just going to do this for you. And dude, he was happy as can be. He didn't see it, right?
Absolutely.
Like, nobody
keeping the
sees
customer included in the conversation, and also they're coming to you because of your judgment. So doing the exact same process on every single car is redundant and unnecessary most of the time. You have to be able to assess the vehicle, say what does this vehicle need, and then do that. And that's where you're going to come out ahead. You can charge the same price to the customers. This is my price for doing, the prep work and the coding. It's an all-in-one price. Some jobs you have to do a little more, other jobs you have to do a little less. and that's where it's going to balance out. But use your judgment, I think, and that's what you're supposed to have the experience for, right?
Yeah. And I think my point of the story and point of it all was when you're chasing perfection, you're doing it for your own self. And it begins to where he's at. The rub that he's at is starting to now affect his business, right? Like he's got a lot of stuff he can get to, but meaning he's got a lot of customers ready. He's got a line of customers who doesn't want to be booked out, quote unquote, like have customers waiting.
But then every business turn those around faster too, though.
Well, fuck, you go outside of the service-based business, everybody wants a line of customers. We all
100%,
right? You want a line of customers, right? Like I want a line of customers. It's what we all want. So as a business, you got to figure out how you can reach those customers before they go find somebody else to take care of their need. Well, that means, you got to hire somebody. Well, to hire somebody, you can't have them trying to chase everything that you're chasing. Because
100%.
All these line of customers don't see what you're seeing. So your business shouldn't be only around what your eyes see.
That's true. Well, and that also is further to the point that he mentioned of having a little bit of a fear of someone else kind of undercutting him in some way. That comes into play too. The biggest way someone's going to undercut you is providing something faster. And I don't mean doing the job quicker necessarily, but I mean an available time slot. Because if the customer is ready to spend and they want it done tomorrow, if it could be done tomorrow, if you're like, wow, my next appointment's in 3 weeks, in that 3-week time frame, they're going to be surfing online and they're going to be doing this and that. They might see somebody else's ad and it's like, hey, book now, we can get you in tomorrow. And they might be like, wow, geez, that other guy's great, but fuck, this guy can do it tomorrow. So you could lose someone just based on time. So you have
like I didn't see the scratches that you thought that you saw. And so he's going to be able to do it at a better rate. Customer's happy because he didn't see what you see and he's paying a lesser rate.
100%. He's like, well, it's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. Take care of the customer. Uh-oh.
Or you can ask the customer for 3 wishes. It says my internet connection's unstable.
Yeah. We froze out there for a second. That's where I go, uh-oh. Almost like
yeah. So, well, we're back now. Good. So on the OrbisX booking form, there's a section for wishes. And it shows little genie. And it's like, if we could grant you 3 wishes, what would they be? And then they enter the wishes. It's kind of interactive too. When they click each box, it kind of explodes like a wish was just made. And then they can type in what it is, and it goes back to, that was our sales process from day one. Customer comes in, oh, you want a coding or you want a detailing, PPF, whatever it happened to be. We ask them specifically, if I was a genie and I could give you 3 wishes, what would they be? And then they tell us, and then we tell them, great. Now that's our focus now. That's what those 3 things. You want it to be shiny, or you want that one scratch on the driver's door to be taken out. You want this and that. That's what we focus on. And then we spend less time, we're not going to go do a 3-step polish on the whole car. It's ridiculous. He didn't ask for that. He doesn't want that. Doesn't care about it. We just prep the car, do the necessary work to actually prep it. And necessary work doesn't mean, a manufacturer saying, well, every car has to get a 3-step. If it doesn't need a 3-step, we're not doing a 3-step. You know what I mean? Like, what if the manufacturer said, and every car needs to sit outside in direct sunlight for 15 minutes exactly? Not 14, not 16. Like, are you going to do that for every car if it's not necessary? Like, you got to use your judgment at some point, assess the vehicle, take a look at it, and see what you need to do. And I definitely think a big part of that is talk to the customer, because as Marty, as you said, the customer most times isn't looking at their vehicle the same way you're looking at it. Like it's just the reality of things. Like, we tend to look at vehicles a little more critically because we're in the industry, and it's also our image that we're putting out there. But yeah, so one question is, he mentioned other people told him about hiring. Is that part of his, did he mention part of his goal is to scale, to hire people, or is it just he's trying to manage the time he has with the jobs now?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I don't know the answer. I can't speak for him on that. I don't know that.
Fair enough. Yeah. So, well, knowing what we do know, so he wants success, happiness, time with family.
That's the only thing. That's what I was going to say. He didn't. Yeah. So I guess we didn't get into the whole hiring part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, it's just from a business though. You could never hire, right? Like you can never
Mhm.
hire somebody to achieve this.
You
You
can't.
can't.
And so that's where one thing I would say is the focus should be less on perfection and more on generating as much of a nest egg right now, because you're not going to be able to have like a succession plan with this business. Like when you can't do the work physically, the business stops completely. So all those
Yeah, a
things,
nest egg doesn't mean a couple $1,000s.
no, it does not. Like we're talking high six figures or more. Like that's it. I mean, cost of everything's going up. Like if you're having trouble making ends meet, and like when you have an income, imagine when you don't. It's going to be a lot different. So yeah, you definitely need something there. And if you can't do the work, so my goal has always been to hire people to do jobs and get them doing it, because you can always hire capable people. Right? Might not be the same people. You're going to have problems to deal with 100%, but it's still not you having to do the work. So imagine when you're old and frail, what do you do? Like you can't go out and polish for 16 hours. You're just not going to be able to. What if you want to go on vacation? You break your wrist? Like who knows? A lot of variables can happen. That's why I think every part of a business plan should include hiring people at some point, even if it's just one person to take over as you get older. And chasing perfection, it might make that process really difficult, I think. And especially if finding someone else that shares your same views on what perfection is will be increasingly challenging. But especially you're possibly focused on the wrong side of your business if the customer is not even asking for perfection. If your customer is asking for perfection, well, then charge perfection rates, and that's fine. But I would argue that most customers, like 98% of them, aren't looking for that. You know. Yeah, but I guess one other point to that would be, if your goal is perfection, looking at the other side of it, then you should be happy as hell. But the fact that you're reaching out to people and asking them, there's obviously something broken in the process. And I think that you're not happy with the perfection side. So it just seems like that's the major holdup from your happiness, actually, is the perfection. Because if you were happy with that and you're like, well, I just love when a car comes out and it looks absolutely stunning, it's perfect, these are my babies. Well, then what you're
Absolutely
doing is
right.
perfect.
But if his overall goal of success is, which is why I love this question, I think it's a question that every single person should ask themselves.
Mhm.
What do you want out of your business? What do you
Yeah.
want out of it?
Because it
Right?
needs to
Like
provide you something, right? If it's
if
just
the
a paycheck,
answer
you get a
is,
paycheck anywhere.
yeah, if the answer is to provide a better life for my family, to like take care of my family, which was his answer, right? Like I want the best for my
Yeah.
family. I want to provide for them. Great. Then you got to start
You
that.
gotta
You got
yeah,
to start
chipping
dividing
away.
up what
Yeah.
will create the most success for him is
Mhm.
providing for his family. What will create the
Yeah.
most providing for your family then? Is
Yeah.
it achieving perfection, or is it lowering those standards into just what the customer wants, keeping it at the value price for the customer? And it's not really about what you charge. And I know there's so many people that ask, well, what should I charge? It's not about that. It's really not
Yeah.
about what you charge. It's about what the value of your customer is equal to what you want out of your business and how you define success and what your times were. You still got to add all that stuff in, but is it all about achieving perfection that equals the success for your family having more? No. It means your business needs to grow. In order for your business to grow, you need to have employees. For your employees to be there, they can't be trying to achieve perfection. They can't be trying to do multi-stage corrections and multi-stage codings. It's not, those are the people that get burnt out, right? Not the people
100%.
that grow their business.
It's true. And especially when a lot of times it's not needed. Like
Yeah.
a good one I always talk about is foam cannons. I know people love foam cannons, and don't get me wrong, they're great for photo shoots and stuff like that. But is a foam cannon necessary for every detailing job? Like when you're cleaning the
Hell
exterior
yeah,
of
it is,
the
motherfucker.
car? Everybody thinks so, and most people think so. And we use them on some jobs, and some jobs we don't. It all depends. It depends on the vehicle. Like some vehicles that are large, it's easier to do something like that. Some vehicles we just go straight in with our wash buckets. It all depends, you know? So I think that if you can eliminate unnecessary steps for things, then that helps. And it's a way you can scale your business, even if it means not scaling with employees, but just scaling for yourself, because you can get more hours out of yourself to take on more work, to provide more of that financial stability for down the road. So you can, you know, not just build up a nest egg, but also save a little bit so you could go on vacation or buy an insurance plan so that if, you know, something happens to you physically and you can't do the work, you have that security blanket. Like there's ways of achieving those things based on the bullet list that we have so far, which is, you know, take care of your family, be a provider, and what was the other one? I guess so, like spend time with family or something. Going on,
whatever. Maybe it's not. Maybe you don't want to spend time with your family, right? Like, who the fuck knows? It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't always have to be about family. I mean, why are you in business? It doesn't have to always be about family.
That's
right?
true.
Like,
I was referencing that guy's list, but
I get it. I get
it. Yeah.
All right. So you had somebody, right, that messaged in with a question also.
Yeah, we'll cover this one quick. Yeah, someone did. They messaged in and they were asking about how best to implement new services into your business. So at the moment,
hey, let me pause.
Sure.
I say the family thing because not everybody's got family, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some people's families are not bars, you know. So that too. You know, so,
anyway, go ahead.
And some people just love the hustle. You know, like some people just love the grind. That's okay too. So like sometimes what you want out of your business is more business. You just want to do it, but
you like the client.
So the question I got was how best to integrate new services into your business. So if you're a detailer, for example, how do you add on things like paint protection film or wraps or tinting, remote starters? Like how do you add on things into your business? So that was the question. It was kind of just open-ended. They're currently a detailer right now, and I think they were asking me because they know at my shop we started out detailing, and then we've added tons of services on top of that, and we did it relatively smoothly. And so there's lots of ways you can approach it. From our side, what we did is we partnered with people that knew what they were doing, built up the volume. And so we subcontracted out once the volume was there and we knew, okay, this is viable. We learned what we could from seeing them operate in the shop and saw the pitfalls.
All right. So let's pause there. I'm glad you started that way because that's what I was going to say too. Yeah. But I think that the average listener will go, how do I do that? So how do we go and approach somebody? Let's just go tint. Let's just start easy with tint.
Well, you know what? That one's great because what we did is we did two at the same time, tint and windshields. And so what we did was, the reason I'm mentioning that is because we got, what we did is I made a page on our website and I went to some other websites and saw what they had written up about, tinting services, and they wrote up about windshield replacements. I added that to our website and just put a form where they could, fill out their info. Started to get quotes. Then I went to Google and I started calling some of the local shops. I just typed in, windshield replacement Ottawa. Started calling some of the local guys. Got a price from them every time we got a request. It was like, oh, I've got a, 2013 Honda Accord. I want to get it tinted. All right, cool. I'd go call up one of the shops. I had made a list. I'd get a price for them. And some of them did mobile where they could actually come to our shop and do it there. And the other ones, we would just take the car there, get it tinted, bring it back to our shop.
Before you got to that point, you had to figure out how to talk to people. Like, right? You didn't just, maybe you did. Did you literally just randomly find out stuff from Google, or did you actually start then negotiating some terms with these people?
Kept it really, really simple. I messaged them and said, look, we have a shop down the road. I told them, I said,
you negotiated some terms.
Yeah, I said, we do detailing. I said, we're looking to do some work swap. So if you have guys that do detailing, we can do the detail. You charge whatever you want on top. We'll give you sort of like a flat rate type thing. And then we'll do the same vice versa. So there was,
I think that I wonder if there's a lot. I listened to this when you sent it over and then listen to it again as you talk, right? Like,
yeah,
I think that there's a lot of people that are scared to reach out to somebody else that has a business. Like,
well, what do you do when you have to buy something? Well, I guess most people Amazon.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like
Yeah.
you can reach out to other people, and maybe the email didn't get read. Maybe you pick up the phone. Maybe you drive over, right? Like
Yeah.
if this is something you want to add on, I'm 100%. I said the same thing as I had written down, trying to think through what to say to somebody. Yeah, you if you want to add on tint, you first should subcontract it out.
100%.
But then
That way
people
you
are
can
gonna
get
people are
familiar
gonna
with the
go.
sales process of it. See the
People are gonna go,
demand.
how?
Yeah.
How do
And
I
this,
add on a subcontractor? Well, you start by sending emails, then a phone call, but you probably should just go knock on that person's door. Hi, I'm so and so. As you said, I'm so and so from over here. How can we work out
exactly.
a
And they'll be
deal,
happy to do it.
a
Like
wholesale deal? Yeah.
yeah, 100% they'll be happy to do it. I talked to maybe 20 of them through all the different services that we added. And now we do all of it in-house. But we started out by using subcontractors, and every single person I talked to was excited. They were like, this is awesome, because you're bringing them business. They're excited at the prospect of it. And then at the same time, they're also looking at it like, oh shit, because they probably didn't think about it either. Like, geez, I'm a tinting shop. Now I can add detailing. So then I would send them a blurb. I would always email them. I'd be like,
What do
can
you
add
think? Hold on.
detailing."
Do you think first, this would be interesting to toss back and forth.
Sure.
Should the relationship start, and there's no right answer to this, I don't think. That's why I think it'd be fun to toss back and forth. Should the relationship start with, hey man, you do tint, I do detail. If you got somebody that asks for detail when you're doing tint, let's trade some business, or just, hey man, I'm just looking for a tint shop to but to have somebody
To do my
tint
tints,
my
yeah.
windows, and then start tying
Yeah.
that in later of, hey, we've done 2 cars together. We've done 3 cars together. What do you guys ever have anybody that asks for detail? How can we start to further this business along? Which direction would you go? There's, like I said, no right or wrong answer. I think I would go with the second side, but what's your thing?
So me, I always went with the first one, which is why
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, like that's what I was thinking. So that's what I was like, hey, let's have a little different thought process.
Yeah, my confidence level when like talking to people is next level. So like, and me, I'll drive to someone's shop, whatever, just walk in. Hey, how you doing? Like, I'm so and so. This is what we're doing down the road. And there's a place that we just started working with now, so we're about to start offering like trailer hitch installs, and they're going to do all the work for us, subcontract it out. So I went to see them, and they were just down the road, drove in. I'm actually getting one put on my truck too. But when I went to see them, I was just like, hey, we got this shop down the road. They had heard of us before, so that helped. But just start talking to them and say, this is what we're looking to do. But at the same time, we also want to offer detailing for you guys. I took a look at your website. I saw you guys don't do that. So this would be an opportunity for you guys to add another vertical niche without having to take on any of the liabilities of the detailing side. And we can even do it all at your shop or branded under your name. We'll pick up the cars, and then, customer never hears from us. So there's a way to approach it. And that was kind of my spiel with everyone, is just start out that way. I tried to address, I guess, like with this, some of the concerns they may have, like, are you just going to try and take our customer base, stuff like that. So that's where I was heavy on the, we can do this basically white label, like your customer will never know that the work is being done by us, so that way it kind of alleviated those concerns. And then the whole thing was just like, look, try us out, but at the same time, we're going to start, buying from you guys. And I just need a price list of what you can offer us wholesale. And let's do some business. People were mostly receptive. And I was just really confident in my ability to, any objections they had, because I love selling. So I was like, it's just another sale for me. It's not B2C, it's just B2B. That's all. So
but if somebody doesn't love selling,
then the second approach is probably better, where you just become a customer, build up that trust, and then it's, build up that relationship where it's like, okay, we've made a few sales now. Definitely that's a good way to go as well. Like you said, there is no right or wrong answer. They're both going to happen. It's just one may be a little delayed, but I can't even say that, because a lot of the guys we started subcontracting to, they didn't send us work right away either. So some of them were waiting to see how it would pan out, So That's where there is no right or wrong here. I think it's more just what you feel comfortable doing. And I would say there's probably a lot more people comfortable with option two. Just from my experience of questions I've heard or posts I've seen with people when it comes to sales, and it's intimidating at times to talk to another bit. I don't feel it, but I guess that's I got used to being told no. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you don't like selling and proving, through that way, you just handle your own issue. You've got somebody that wants 10. Okay.
Yeah.
Find somebody that can handle and have it a great value and get your shit dialed in to where you got your customer taken care of. And then if you think that person has enough volume to where you can start recouping some of your expense back and maybe start a whole new leg of business, and they start sending you stuff. Yeah. The best relationship would be both of you guys sending each other work, but you never know if that's going to happen. So at least start to get your shit taken care of for the customers that you're missing out on.
Yeah, because your whole goal is to increase your revenue in a different service.
Yeah.
So that's how to accomplish that. And I think too that the one great thing about it is that a lot of these add-on services have more costly investment to get started in comparison to detailing. A lot of guys that start out in detailing, I think, have this question more on their brain than someone that does the opposite. Someone that starts off doing, tinting, for example, they invested in the equipment, the training, whatever it is, they set up their facility. It's easier for them to put the pieces together and be like, oh, while the car is here, we could detail it too. Let me just get an extractor and this and that. It's a little, I think, easier for them. I don't see that question as often from other industries. Detailing, I see this question a lot. And I think it's because they got into detailing, very low cost of entry. And then now it's like, oh, I want to start doing PPF, but rolls of PPF are like $1,400. I got to get a plotter. I got to get trained on it. What is slip and tack solution? Like, they got to figure out all these things. And then it's like, what happens if I screw up a car and I've got to now like throw out all this PPF and I just lost a pile of money? Like, it's a little easier to screw up those jobs than it is like an exterior wash.
The business is always a gamble, right?
Yeah.
It's always a gamble.
It is. But you got
sometimes, sometimes the gamble is best to just let somebody else take care of
someone else take it. It's true. Yeah, absolutely. And especially in the beginning, so that you can see if there's volume for that. Because you might want to add on a service because you saw some other shop in some other state, they're just crushing it. I've seen their Instagram posts. They're doing amazing, so inspirational. But maybe in your particular situation, maybe you can't sell it. Maybe people don't want to buy it. Maybe, different things. Like here in Canada, for example, PPF is a lot more popular in some areas than ceramic coating because of the kind of weather that we have and the rock chips and stuff like that. However, ceramic coating has been gaining in popularity because of its other properties. And so some people that are like, well, I only have my car for like a year or 2 years. I'm really not concerned what happened with these rock chips down the road, but I want it to be easy to maintain, look shiny, all these things. So it's kind of one of those things where if you just dove head first into PPF, you might now find out like, oh shit, the market's changing and a lot of people actually prefer just getting their car ceramic coated or vice versa, depending on your area. So going the subcontracting route and just put it on your website, start getting requests for it. The reality is if you get a quote request for something, it's up to you whether you want to take that job or not. So if you don't have someone that can do it or you can't find the right price or whatever, you're at least getting those feelers out there and getting a feel for the sales process without having to make the investment of, buying rolls of PPF and getting the training and the plotter and all that stuff. Have someone else do that. They take on that liability. You'll learn about the other aspects of that new service that you've added before having to make that commitment. So it's kind of a try before you buy, Yeah. And then, so that's what I would recommend. And then, okay, that was the subcontractor route. The other route though, some people do is they just jump in. Well, what would you recommend for someone that's just like, I want to start offering tint. I'm just going to go for it.
I wouldn't.
Look, I wouldn't.
I would start subcontracting at
because it almost doesn't make sense at all, right? Yeah,
yeah, I would start to make sure you had the volume to sustain it.
Yeah,
it's a big question, and you go, yeah, but there's a lot of people doing PPF here. Okay, but or do you have the sales in place to create this new leg of business for yourself? Because you're
Yeah.
gonna have to start taking away from your current business.
Your other
Your
one.
current business is
Exactly.
doing great. I get it's doing great, but if you stepped away 60% of your time, how great is it?
It's true. Yeah.
Or
See,
should you make sure that you just keep selling and getting more and more sales so that you subcontract those sales out and you start making, a couple $1,000s and you didn't do a thing.
exactly.
And
You're going to
then,
make less profit,
then
but
you got some engine moving and you take those couple $1,000s that you're, don't go buy new shoes, don't go buy a new car, which a lot of us
yeah,
do. Go put it into hiring, put it into building up this part of your business so that maybe you can take that time to go train. And then the
mm,
2 months that it's going to take to really figure out that you're doing the same quality that this person that you subcontracted out to. I get it, you're going to be great, but it's going to take time. So
100%.
some of that is your clutch to gas ratio while you're shifting, right?
Yeah,
Like it really is a lot of that in business. A new stream of income doesn't necessarily mean the stream opens up large. You
that's
got to
true.
work on creating that, channel, right? You got to
Exactly.
for the feed to come into. So at the same time, you got to have this feed coming in. So there's some of that you got to do some shifting on. And that
100%.
doesn't necessarily mean that this one comes in 100%. So I would not jump out and start doing 10 on your own and go get training. Like you're going to need to go get training and you should to get PPF and everything. But I would subcontract it out as long as you
As
can
long as you can. Exactly.
until you go,
100%.
dude, I've got so many PPFs that I've got $4,000 a month just in my 20% add-on for having somebody else do the work. Because what business wouldn't love 20% margins? Zero headache and 20%
With zero
margin?
headache? Yeah. Oh my God.
Zero headache and 20% margin.
Yep, exactly. And that's where it makes the difference. And the only time you bring it in-house, like what we did, is when we realized that, okay, we have so much volume for it now that it doesn't make sense. It just didn't justify us subcontracting it out, especially when you start to realize there's other little type problems that you have to deal with. Like for us, for example, we'd have, a tint done and the guy would leave because we only, in the beginning, we had, let's say 1 or 2 tints that day. He came, did them both, then he left. Customer comes and they're like, oh, it's great, but I noticed this one little section here is doing this or something. And we were like, oh, no problem, we'll get that fixed up. I have to get the guy to come back. It was a big ordeal. And we started to realize these are a lot of things we can handle ourselves. So it started out with him teaching us how to fix those minor imperfections. So we're like, okay, so then we were fixing those on the spot for the customer. And then we were like, okay, but now we're getting the volume up. We're spending this much on this guy. It'll justify it. We have the volume consistently. Let's get our own plotter. Let's buy our own film and let's just play around with it. Let's learn. And then we ended up actually bringing this guy in full time, which was good. So that can also happen too. There's a lot of businesses that are out there. They can do great work, but they can't handle the business side of it. So if you're good at that aspect of it, you might find that some of these subcontractors will eventually just become your employees because a lot of them are looking for steady work as well. And I just want to come in, do my tint, go home for the day and get paid. I don't want to have to talk to customers. I don't want to do any of that stuff. So that's where you can actually hire, like some of these people can become employees and then now they work for you and they're going to get a steady paycheck. They get paid, they go home. But for you, you just integrated them right into your business, but starting as a subcontractor. So that's, yeah, I'm a huge fan. I even put it in my book. I wrote about it, like subcontracting all the way, because there's hundreds of companies out there and there's so many that instead of taking on employees come with a lot of stuff. Like I've got tons of employees and the headaches that come with hiring your own staff are plentiful. Worth it 100%. Okay. But to get to that point, we always start with, casual workers or, subcontractors and then build up from there because they're taking on a lot of the headache side of things away from the business. You're going to make less margins, but like you said, 20% margins with zero headaches. I'll take that any day of the week, 100%. And then look how fast using this process we just talked about, How fast, Marty, do you think you could add 5 new services to your business? A weekend? All you got to do is call some people, put up a couple of pages on your website. Now, all of a sudden, you're not just a detailer. Now you're offering detailing, windshield replacement, chip fix, paint protection film, wraps, tinting. Now you're going to look like this huge organization, this huge company, and you're getting customers coming in from everywhere. And guess what? All of those customers that come in for those other services, you can now upsell them your main service, which is your detailing. Doesn't that make more sense? That's how you wrap it all in together. So that's my advice. And every business out there, even this guy we talked about with the perfection, that's definitely something he could do. If he wants to keep chasing perfection, sure. Does he do tinting? Add tinting. Get a subcontractor. Now you can focus on chasing perfection, making that little bit extra from these subcontractors. So even if you close down for, like, let's say you go to, you go to Cuba for a week or something. Well, you can close down for 7 days. Your other stuff is still running and rolling. You're still making a little bit less, but you're still making. You come back and business is still around. So yeah, that's my 15 cents.
I love it, man. Great advice. Great advice.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah. So I think we give some solid gems here. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah. So this weekend, anyone that's only doing detailing needs to make a list of services that you think you could offer. Find 5 people and reach out to each of them. That's what I think you should do. Find 5 services, 5 people locally for each service. Reach out to them, and guaranteed by Monday you're going to have 3 new services to add to your website. 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
And Marty and I will only take 15% for our advice. That's our fee for it. So someone's got to buy the ranch water.
Man,
Yeah.
Listen, man, that's pretty tasty right there.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, that's trouble. That's trouble.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man, good stuff. All right, Marty. Well, as always, thanks for your time, man. This was good. I'm gonna go pick up the kids from school, but yeah, this was a great chat. This is gonna be a good one. Anyone, if you're curious about the process, again, we're gonna get Marty to go over it real quick because I think he's got some really interesting products out right now. What's the recommended 3-step process that you would recommend? I'm not talking 3-step polishing. I'm talking the fuego, the cleanse, the trace. Like what would you recommend as the trifecta?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. You nailed it. That's it.
Beautiful. All right.
Yeah.
My memory's still here.
Cleanse and then ceramic coating, uno, dos, or tre. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You can clay bar if you need to, and you can polish if you need to, but
I
fuego
like the
and
if
then
you need
cleanse.
to part.
Yeah.
So it's not a
Fuego and
requirement.
cleanse. It's going to
Not a
take away what?
It's not a requirement.
What?
Do you have to clay bar every car, or is that a requirement? No.
No,
was a
it's
joke
no
about it.
requirement. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's a funny joke, but no,
Yeah.
fuego is going to take care of most of your iron decon. But if you got stuff deep in the paint and clear coat, that's an older vehicle. Sure,
Then
I get it.
definitely
You're gonna
recommend
have
it.
to,
100%.
you might have to clay, but you don't have to clay every vehicle, and you
Yeah.
don't have to polish every vehicle. So
Exactly. Not in the pursuit of perfection.
no.
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. All right. Well, thanks again, Marty. We'll see you next week, next Tuesday. Have a great week. And everyone else, we'll catch you soon. Awesome.
See you.
All right. See you.